Hey there, Lotus Field fans. I am Bryant Cook, and today we're playing Pioneer. I love Lotus Field Combo in this format. I brew on it all the time. And while recently I've been pretty down on the deck, and I think it comes down to, is Lotus Field fast enough for Pioneer at the moment? And I think the answer is no. So today I am playing a Turbo Lotus Field list. And why is it Turbo? Well, we'll get to that in just a moment, but I think before we do, we should understand why we need to be fast. So we look at the metagame breakdown here. Rakdos midrange, the most popular deck in the format at 20% of the metagame. Do we need to be fast for that matchup? No, I don't think so. All right, so the most popular deck in the format, 20% of the field, not it. When we go to a deck like Nykthos Ramp, that is a matchup that is defined by speed, because on their turn 3, they're going to play a card, and on their turn 4, they're going to play a Damping Sphere into Needle or whatever. And this is a matchup that's defined by speed. Greasefang, another matchup defined by speed. Mono white humans, yes, we need to be fast there. Bant Spirits, not necessarily, but it certainly helps. Absolutely not for Azorius control. Same thing with Phoenix. These are both traditionally positive matchups for Lotus Field, so you wouldn't need to change your deck for those. Mono red aggro, absolutely. The Mirror, yes. Boros aggro, definitely. Gruul aggro, yes. Not for fires. Mono blue spirits is, I mean, it's a different deck than Bant Spirits, but it's the same pace. Rakdos Sacrifice, and once we get down here, these are all really small percentages, so we're not worried about that. But look at these 5 or 4 decks in a row, and then we have, some tier 2 decks down here that all require you to be very fast. And I think when a large portion of the winner's metagame is decks that want you to be fast, yeah, we should certainly consider it, right? So I felt like when I play this deck, I often end up being too slow. So we're looking to change that while still be a consistent deck, right? Like if we can increase speed and not lose a whole lot, it's certainly worth it. So that's what I'm looking to do here today. I'm trying to make an improvement to Lotus Field Combo. So the first thing is, you'll notice there's no tap lands in this deck that are not the Lotus Field themselves. So yes, Lotus Field comes into play tapped, I know how to read. But there's no temples, there's no triomes, none of that stuff. But also, there's no blast zone, so we're not playing a colorless land today. We're only playing 4 stage that tap for colorless. Well, why is that? Well, I'm trying to always play Grazer on turn 1, and this list has the most green sources of any Lotus Field list I've ever played. So here we have 4, 7, 11, 13 untapped green sources to play this Grazer on turn 1. That's a really high count. I'm a big fan of that. But we also have 4 copies of Growth Spiral. What does Growth Spiral do for us? Well, when we play 4 Spiral and 4 Grazer, we just dramatically increase the number of games that we have a Lotus Field on the battlefield on turn 2. And I think that's really, really interesting. So that could be pretty good, because that means turn 3 we can copy with this Thespian stage and potentially even go off when you have a Vizier or a Hidden Strings hand. But more realistically, it just means you have a lot more turn 4 wins with this Lotus Field deck. So that's what I'm looking to do here today. We'll see if it works. It could be a complete dud and I'm wrong. But there's also a few other changes in the deck. So one of the big things is, if you watch this channel, I'm a lover of the card Wish. There's no Wish here today. We're not winning with Wish, Fae of Wishes, Mastermind's Acquisition. None of those are to be found. Instead, today we're just playing Thassa's Oracle, a card that requires you to draw your entire library. That seems bad right now, right? Like, I just talked about how Rakdos midrange is the most popular deck in the format, and guess what that's playing? Shieldred. I'm aware. Trust me, I am aware. That said, you could play the Approach here. I want to play Oracle here today for the science. If it's bad today, I'll switch it out for an Approach. But I'm trying to test a couple different things here. One of my theories is you have to pay at least 14 mana for Approach, right? You have to cast it twice, not even counting the mana that you have to spend to dig through your library 7 deep for the next copy of Approach. So that ends up being like 20-ish mana maybe. Is that worth it? I don't know. So instead, we're going to try Thassa's Oracle, a card that only requires you to have 2 at the very end of your winning the game strategy. Could this bite me? Absolutely. But how do we even get down to 0 cards? Well, we do have this Peer into the Abyss, which is pretty sweet. We only have 1 Peer, though. That's one of the big changes about today's deck list. I'm running 3 copies of Dark Petition. This is a card I think has a lot of value right now. So not only can you just tutor up your Otawara to answer the Shield Dread, you can go get Behold the Beyond to completely ignore Shield Dread on the front half. And then with Behold, you can get Hidden Strings, Lier, Disciple of the Drowned, play the pair of Hidden Strings again, Behold again, go get 2 more Hidden Strings and the Otawara, and then from there, that unlocks all of your Pore where the page is, and your Peer into the Abyss, and everything else. So having consistent access to Behold the Beyond and Peer into the Abyss, I think is going to be a pretty big level up for this deck list today. You can always go get a Thassa's Oracle as well. That can certainly help. But this is what I'm thinking. I just want a really low mana value win condition, something that's going to be useful. And one of the nice things about Oracle is you can actually play it on turn 2 as a chump blocker, get a Scry in there if you want to, against some of those aggro decks of the format. So that's going to be pretty nice. It can also hold back a Thalia, for example. I think it's going to be decent. But really, when you look at our deck, we're a Lier Disciple of the Drowned deck at this point, which is another reason to play Dark Petition, is you can flash this back. It's going to be super good. So think of this deck almost like Ad Nauseam Tendrils in Legacy, because that's really how it's constructed. If you want to compare this deck list or this theory to any other deck, this is essentially Pioneer Ant. And I think that, you know, that could really be powerful. And I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your butt. I really do believe that this is going to be good. We do have 2 copies of Balaged Recovery. You may notice that I'm playing 23 lands today. Most stock lists on MTG Goldfish, when you look at Hidden Strings, they play 22 and then 3 copies of Balaged Recovery. So 22 plus 3 MDFCs, those would be the Balaged Recoveries. I've gone down to 2 because I'm really trying to emphasize having more untapped green sources for this Grazer, but also just more lands to put in a playoff Growth Spiral and Grazer as well. So that's what I'm doing today. You can always Balaged Recovery, back your Lier Disciple of the Drowned, or Thassa's Oracle if they end up hitting the graveyard. I just want to point that out. And you might be worried about them being on the battlefield. You can always sacrifice them to Lotus Field to put them back in the graveyard. So that's what I'm looking to do there. And that pretty much covers the main deck. And one of the benefits of not playing Fave Wish's Mastermind's Acquisition is we actually get to play a real sideboard today. So we have 4 Leyline for that Rakdos midrange matchup, 4 Mystical Dispute for the control decks, but also Spirits, March of the Swirling Mist for those aggro decks. You can play Path to Peril. I don't love the card, but I'm also a big fan of how you can board in a singleton March versus Rakdos is just a Dark Petition target to remove the Shield Dread for a single blue mana. I think that's going to be pretty good. And then Niv Mizzet for Spirits and other control matchups. Against control, you can board out 4 Mystical Dispute, or you could board in 4 Dispute, 2 Thought Distortion, 2 Niv Mizzet for 4 Grazer and 4 Growth Spiral, and then just crush them. So that's what we're looking to do there. That's my long-winded deck tech. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see if we can put this theory into practice and try to crush this league. I hope you enjoy it. I hope I crush. Sincerely, I want to crush tonight. But thank you for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the first round. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. Here we've already opened up our brand new card, Growth Spiral, that we can play a Lotus Field on a play on turn 2 off of our blue land and our green source. Who doesn't love to see that? But we also have a small change that I made before we queued in. So I decided to add in 2 Path to Peril in the sideboard. I know that I already recorded the deck tech. Well, sorry, sucks to be you. Here's a little bit of information. So I decided to switch these in over to copies of March of Swirling Mist. This is because of Dark Petition. Dark Petition can get Path to Peril and cast it off that 3 mana. And I thought to myself, oh, that's going to be super useful. So we're going to do that. it's not something I thought of until I started to switch. You could also go further down that rabbit hole and play like a singleton Necromentia if you wanted to, but Lotus Field Combo is 2% in the metagame. I feel like that's sort of a wasted sideboard slot, so not interested in playing Necromentia. But if there's some other really sweet 3-mana black cards, I could potentially be interested in that. So it looks like we're facing Phoenix most likely. We're going to play this Sanctum and pass the turn. All of the Storm Giants. Chart a course. This is definitely Phoenix. Alright, Spikefield Hazard down. Not likely a good one against me. Arboreal Grazer. Blue, green. We're going to play this Growth Spiral. So that way I can draw a card. We draw the Thassa's Oracle. Not super helpful here, but certainly better than an Approach of the Second Sun. Land number 3. Pieces of the Puzzle. Lightning Axe, Galvanic Iteration, but no Phoenixes. Draw. Another Lotus Field. Think I'm going to just play Oracle here and try to get that Scry. Do we want the Beseju? Think the answer might be yes. Is Beseju better than a random card? I think we keep the Beseju, which might seem a little bit weird, but hear me out. So one, it's a land, which means if I don't find anything I want, I can eventually play this Lotus Field from hand, which is, interesting. Another aspect of it is, on my turn, I can cast Hidden Strings into Pore looking for something good. They play an Opt. And they pass back. Okay. So we draw the Beseju. I think we're just going to play that. Get in. So if they had tapped out, I would have considered ciphering the Hidden Strings onto the Oracle, which is another interesting thing about the card. But if they're going to hold open mana, I'm just going to pass the turn. Okay. Draw. Sylvan Scrying. Looking at a deck list real quick, it looks like they play Spell Pierce's Counter Magic, and that's pretty much it. Get in there with the Oracle. They have 7 in hand. Blue, green, play Sylvan Scrying. I've realized I've also made a play mistake this game. They're going to copy their next spell, so they have Galvanic Iteration into Spell Pierce. Sure. The Spikefield Hazard can exile my Oracle, so maybe I wasn't supposed to play the Oracle. I think we just passed the turn. I think the only silver lining is that with these lists, there's only 2 copies of Spikefield Hazard, at least this specific list. I don't know about all of them. This has 2 as well. We know that one of them is in the graveyard, but maybe I wasn't supposed to play it. Ooh, and they played the other one. Okay. They have 1 in hand. Another Hidden Strings. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to cast Hidden Strings. Untap, untap. Yes. Yes. And yes, I would like to cipher. Blue, green. 4 over pages. The juicy Spell Pierce target. Lightning Axe, okay. So I think we're supposed to discard this Dark Petition. And I think we might have the win here. We're going to play Otawara. Tap these for mana. Play the Grazer. Lotus Field. Sacrifice these 2. Hidden Strings. Target our 2 lands. Yes. Yes. No. Hidden Strings again. Yes, yes, no. Play this Pore over pages. Untap, untap. Discard the stage. Let's play Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. And we just have a completely stocked graveyard. Let's get that Dark Petition. Any order? Black, blue. Let's Hidden Strings, untap, untap. Yes, yes, no. Play the Dark Petition. Alright, so I think I have one Hidden Strings left. I'm going to grab Peer into the Abyss. And then let's cast the Peer. We'll have two open. I do have some Hidden Strings in the graveyard, but I was just looking at Hidden Strings left in the library. We're going to cycle this, untap, draw. Okay, untap with the Vizier once again, going up to 4 mana. Untap a Lotus Field. 18 cards left in the library. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. 17 cards left at the moment. Let's cast this Pore over pages. Untap, untap. Discard a Lotus Field. Okay, 14 cards. Cancel that. Have to tap the Lotus Field. Okay. Cycle another Vizier. Just making mana. Alright, so we're at 10 at this point. Pore over pages. Untap, untap. Discard. Tap for green mana. Let's Balaged Recovery and return the Thassa's Oracle. Blue. 7 cards left in the library. Cast another Pore. Untap, untap. Alright, so we're at 4 cards. I will cycle Vizier, and then one last Pore over the pages will bring us down to 0. That said, I do have a Lier, Disciple of the Drowned in play, so we actually have enough already. But why not just go to 0? Pore over pages. Untap, untap. Discard. And now we can play the Oracle. Wooch, wooch. See, it's pretty easy to draw your entire library with this build. Just Dark Petition giving you the consistency to choose between Peer into the Abyss or Behold the Beyond into Lier is really nice. And having just like consistent access to Lier is also just beautiful. But we're facing Phoenix, not an aggro deck, so we don't want the Path to Perils, unfortunately, or this March. We are interested in Mystical Dispute and these Niv Mizzets. Probably the Thought Distortions too, actually. So let's get rid of these Arboreal Grazers. Likely take out some Growth Spirals. We're not really looking to be fast. Hit Submit. Keep, 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 keep. Beautiful hand. Steam Vents. And they're passing the turn. Play Sanctum, pass. All of the Storm Giants, and they're passing the turn. I am fine with that. Bark Channel Pathway, and we will pass back. Impulse being an instant actually matters here, because we don't have to play this into Counter Magic. We can wait until their end step to cast Impulse. Okay. Let's play the Impulse. Hopefully we can find something like Thought Distortion. That would be really nice. Instead we find some Pore over the pages. We'll take one of those, putting the Oracle on the bottom, where it belongs. Draw. I'm not going to complain about another Hidden Strings. Let's play the Lotus Field. Pass the turn. Unlicensed Hearse. Sure. Don't care. Draw. We're just going to copy our Lotus Field now. One of the easiest way to beat these decks is to bully them on mana. So having more copies of Lotus Field and drawing this Thespian stage are actually pretty huge. They play another Hall of the Storm Giants, Ledger Shredder. You got it. Play Thespian stage. We're going to pass the turn here. And then on their end step, we can copy Lotus Field and then Otawara to bounce the unlicensed Hearse. They cast an Opt. Attacking with the Shredder. Ouch. On their end step, we will copy Lotus Field, as I mentioned. And then tap Lotus Field for triple blue and Otawara the unlicensed Hearse. They remove my Otawara, that's just fine. Don't really care about that. And the Hearse has been returned to their hand. They have 4 open mana. Draw. Okay, so Mystical Dispute is a card we care about, so we're going to try to beat that just by making some mana first. And looking at a lot of these deck lists, they really only have one hard counter for us, and it's a Singleton Disdainful Stroke in the sideboard. So if they have Disdainful Stroke, we're obviously not thrilled, but I don't think we're supposed to play around Disdainful Stroke. Instead, we're just going to cast some cards. 4 over pages. Floating 5 mana. Ledger Shredder triggers. They get to Connive. Discards an Arclight Phoenix. That's exactly what they're looking to do. It resolves. We will untap. Discard a land. That was pretty stinky. Let's tap this again. 4 over pages. Tons of mana floating. There we go. Discard this land. Let's tap this for black. Cycle of Vizier. Untap the Lotus Field. Draw a card. Stage. Let's play that as our land for turn. Tap it for mana. Dark Petition. And our opponent has conceded. Too easy. Too easy. We're 1-0. I've really liked this Dark Petition innovation. Granted, we stole it from the Ultimatum list, and I get asked all the time why I don't like Ultimatum. I feel like that deck has a lot of flaws with it. Like, you're trying to resolve a 7-mana card that loses to Mystical Dispute. That's one thing. You play Omniscience, which is fine, but then Beseiju was printed or created. And so many people just sit with Beseiju open the entire game, and then your entire plan folds to a land. Like, it's pretty easy for people to disrupt you. And what I found is I didn't like having this awkward game where you weren't allowed to draw combo pieces either. Like, if you ever drew Omniscience, your entire package didn't work. And that was kind of obnoxious. Same thing with Behold the Beyond, where here we are playing Dark Petition, a Behold, and a Peer, but our deck isn't ever upset to draw cards, and our payoffs just don't lose to a Mystical Dispute either. And I think that's pretty interesting. But enough of me grandstanding here. We're 1-0. I'm going to head over to match number 2. I hope you like that. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we are on the play with Turbo Lotus Combo. Alright, so here we have one of the awkward things with Growth Spiral is we have double Thespian stage. We can't actually cast this spiral, not yet. Do we keep this? That's another question. I'm going to say yes. Okay, let's play Beseiju to lead off and pass the turn. So one other reason that I'm keeping this is while these double stages are awkward, Well, it looks like they played a mountain. If they were on a blue deck, we could actually copy their land and get a blue source that way. But it looks like they're on mono red, which means that this hand isn't as good as I would have hoped for the matchup. Draw. Okay, we ripped the blue source. That's good. I'm going to Growth Spiral, I think. Come on, Lotus Field. Alright, we'll settle for a stage. Pass. On our turn, we have Impulse into Sylvan Scrying if we can find it, or the Lotus Field. So I think that's pretty interesting that Impulse has 8 cards it can potentially hit. Fanatical Firebrand, okay. And another Firebrand. So they're going to be aggressive. That's what this deck is looking to do. We need to find Lotus Field immediately. Alright, we're taking 3 down to 16. Draw. I'm not going to complain about a Hidden Strings draw, but we do need to find that Lotus Field. Impulse. No such luck. I think I'm going to take the Otawara. Because by taking the Otawara, I can cast another Impulse. The awkward thing about this is that even if I draw Lotus Field, I don't think I can try to win on my next turn unless I draw another Hidden Strings or a Vizier. So they're getting in for 5 damage, and I'm going to go to 11. Land number 3. Okay, so they're sort of threatening lethal here. And I missed again. Oh boy. I think I'm supposed to take the Grazer as a blocker. Okay. They have 3 in hand. Draw. Sylvan Scrying. A little bit weird because we don't have multiple green sources, so I can't play Scrying into Grazer into field. I could also just play the Thespian stage into Pore and then untap and play the Grazer. I think that's likely the plan. Alright, play the Pore. The old 5 lands into Pore over the pages. Discard Sylvan Scrying. Play the Grazer. We just have to hope to live. Put the Sanctum on the battlefield. Pass. Alright, please don't murder me. And they have the Torbrand. I think I'm just dead here. So I can block this thing, but then I believe that I die to these. Because this is 5 plus 6, so that's a perfect 11. Yeah. That's a bummer. Okay. We kept a hand that was probably just too slow for the matchup. It stinks, but it happens. Alright, so we get to bring in these 3 effects. I think Path to Peril is going to be pretty good here. The question is, how do we board to keep speed up while also being consistent? I think you could probably cut the Behold in this matchup, because we're not really looking to beat something like a Shieldred. And then I think you could probably shave 2 copies of Growth Spiral. Let's try this out. Yes, I'd like to be on the play. Unfortunately, that is not a keep. This has access to Lotus Field, but is a little bit slow. On the play, I think I'm willing to try it out. Pass the turn. Mountain. Play with fire. Okay. Ooh, we drew Lotus Field. So now our stage, or I'm sorry, our Scrying can go get Thespian stage. Grab the stage, pass the turn. Burning Tree Emissary. Okay. into carry Zev. Draw for turn, impulse. I'm going to play the impulse into Lotus Field. I think if I didn't draw impulse, I would have just played the stage pass holding open Boseiju. But the impulse changed it for me. And I think here we just grab another copy of impulse. Would have liked to find a hidden strings there, but not the end of the world. Pass. We're at 18 and we're about to be taking 5 damage. At least 5 damage. Yep. So the original Ragavan hits the battlefield. And we're going to be dropping down to 13. Ragavan will go to exile. 2 mana for an Eidolon of the Great Revel. Come on, Path to Peril. Draw. No Path to Peril here. So they have 7 damage on board next turn. I think I'm supposed to just copy. I mean, I have the Boseiju for the Eidolon already. I just have to hope to live. I mean, it's a big ask, but see what we can do here. That's land number 4. All right, no Torbrand. I like that. I think I likely would have had game number 1 without the Torbrand. Now we take some damage. I'm at 6. Do you have 6 damage worth of burn? 2 mana. Another Eidolon? Oh, that's backbreaking. Draw. Let's play Pour Over Pages. I don't think I can win. Discard the Lotus Field. They have 2 in hand. 1 Eidolon I don't think would have been an issue. So I can play the Lier, but I don't have enough mana to then cast Pour Over Pages. And if I want to Boseiju the Eidolon, I give them another land, so that way they have Run-a-Map Ruins online. Because my game plan would have been to play Lier, blow up an Eidolon, and then take 5 going to 1, hoping that their hand doesn't do anything. But instead, I believe I'm just dead here, and I can't impulse into anything relevant, because Path to Peril would kill me if I cast it. In March of the Swirling Mist, I could pitch the Lier, but I don't have anything else going on in my hand. So that's not an out. I guess something I can do is Boseiju an Eidolon. I mean, this is... I'd have to get pretty lucky in order for this to work. We're going to Boseiju Eidolon. And then we're going to Impulse. Oh, no, that still doesn't work because I'm dead to the Run-a-Map Ruins. Yeah, we're just dead no matter what. Okay, so I'm going to go to 4. And then if you find Path to Peril, you can wipe their board. Cycle. Untap. Draw. So it puts me to 2. Unfortunately, I just don't think this does it. If I had 1 more mana, I think we had a line here. Alright, so I'm going to Hidden Strings. I go to 2 life. 1 more mana or 2 more life. They have a Play with Fire. Lightning Strike. Stomp. Okay. Yep, they got me. Bummer. So here we saw 2 games in a row where I didn't open up on one of my accelerants and we got bit. So we added cards to the deck in order to speed them up. I didn't keep hands with them, and we sort of played the normal Lotus Field game. And this is sort of what happens when you don't draw those cards. So unfortunate, but it's just how it is. Ooh, that would have been bad. So the play would have been to play Lier, bounce the Eidolon, and then if we had one more mana, you could Hidden Strings in a Pore, and these three would have been the Pore draw, which obviously would have been a little bit weak. But sometimes you lose, it happens. Sometimes you get double Eidolon, which really stinks. We're 1-1, 3 matches left. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round 3, we're on the draw. I've opened up Triple Grazer versus an opponent who has revealed a Yorion Sky Nomad. I'd be willing to bet that this is a control matchup, so that's not what we're looking to do. Here we have no access to Lotus Field or the Thespian stage. It's also kind of a slow hand. I'm just going to go to 5. Better. I think we get rid of the Growth Spiral and Hidden Strings. I think we want the Vizier. I think on 5 cards, that's a card we're definitely interested in. Sacred Foundry. Dark Petition. We're going to play the Balged Recovery as a land and pass the turn. Plains? Knight of the White Orchid. Okay, not the matchup I was expecting here. Let's play the Path, and I'm just going to go get Lotus Field. Pass the turn. 3 mana for a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. They get in with the Knight of the White Orchid. We're at 18. Okay, I'm going to play a Lotus Field, sacrifice these 2 lands, Growth Spiral, put the Bark Channel into play, pass the turn. They discard a Portable Hole. Now they attack for 4. I'm going to go to 14. They have 5 in hand. Another Knight of the White Orchid. Raven Inspector. So this is 7 damage. Fabled Passage, draw. Grazer. Let's start off by cycling here. Untap. Draw. Cast Dark Petition. Get the stage. Play the stage, and then we can copy the Lotus Field with the mana off Dark Petition. Pass the turn. They draw a card with their clue. To start their turn, this Fable of the Mirror Breaker is going to change into Reflection of Kiki Jiki. They have 7 power on the board. I will go to 7 life. They create a treasure. They have 5 mana with 4 cards in hand. They put Yori into their hand. They play another copy of Sacred Foundry. Okay. Blue. Blue. Let's play this Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. Blue. And our opponent just immediately conceded the game to Lier. I mean, I think we probably would have won. I would have Balagetted back our Hidden Strings into Dark Petition. And I think Dark Petition just gets Beholden, we win from there. But, alright, I'll take an immediate concession. Thank you. So our opponent's just on like red-white mid-range by the looks of it. I don't think I want to board in Path to Peril or anything else for this matchup. I think I just want to leave it as is. Click that submit button. Good hand. Keep. Wow, I can't believe they revealed the Yorion again. That's so surprising. It's also a little bit weird to me that like Yorion is banned in Modern now, but still legal in Pioneer. Not that I'm saying it needs to be banned. It's just like kind of funny that too strong for Modern, but good enough for Pioneer. Charming Prince, sure thing. 2 on the bottom. Draw. Growth Spiral. Sylvan Scrying. Go get the Lotus Field. Pass the turn. One of the nice things about Growth Spiral too is that if you're trying to beat something like a Damping Sphere, you can wait to put the Lotus Field into play until their end step and then hold open Besage. That's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to play the Sanctum and then just pass the turn. Land number 4. Now they attack for 5 and I'll fall down to 13 life. What does this do? Ooh. So I can't target my Lotus Field. Okay. Unlicensed Hearse. Play the Growth Spiral. We will put Lotus Field in. Sacrifice these. So these Viziers are not very good at the moment. So I have 2 copies of Otawara. I think what I'm supposed to do here is play the Besage. And then we play Lier. And then the Lier can get, or can flashback Sylvan Scrying for the Otawara. I guess they have a unlicensed her, so I don't know. At least at the bare minimum, it's a blocker. Chained to the Rocks. I'm just getting punished over and over here. Okay. Green, blue. Let's play a Growth Spiral. No. I'm going to call it. I think we just got beat this game. I've never had anyone ever play Tomek against me in this format before, so we definitely want some answers for that. In comes Path. In comes March. I think I'm going to leave the Behold in the deck. Once again, I think I'm going to board out 2 copies of Growth Spiral. And a Grazer. They're not super fast, so I don't want to keep too many of those effects in, but I definitely need the removal. I can't be getting got by Tomek again. This seems reasonable. Alright, play the Breeding Pool, pass the turn. Clifftop Retreat tapped. Draw for turn. Boros, we will play that, pass. We're going to play the Growth Spiral, and the reason to play Growth Spiral over Impulse is, and here's the Tomek again, is that if we draw into Lotus Field, we can copy it. Well, if they didn't play the Tomek. But that's the reason to sequence that way. Alright, we find Sylvan Scrying. Let's Scrying, we'll go get Lotus Field. Play. Pass the turn. And I'm going to Impulse on their end step. Yeah. Knight of the White Orchid. So they get a land out of their deck. Or a plane so they can go get a Sacred Foundry. We will cast Impulse. Dark Petition. That does get me the Sweeper. So we get to do the Dark Petition line here. I have to wait a turn for Lotus Field, but it's fine. Grazer. Let's tap these. Play the Lotus Field. I cannot copy. Yep. Okay. Pretty free to play a blocker here, I guess. Maybe they'll spend their turn answering it. What is this? When it enters the battlefield, learn. They play Fabled Passage. They get a basic Plains. Chain to the Rocks on my Grazer. You've got it. We'll take 4. We're at 14, and they have 4 in hand. Draw. Okay, let's cast this Dark Petition. Go get the Path to Peril, and then cast it. Pass the turn. What does this do? I'm a reader. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land card from your graveyard or cast a permanent spell with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. If you do, it gains whenever this permanent is put into a graveyard into a graveyard from the battlefield, exile it, and you gain 2 life. So next turn they could replay Tomek. We're going to start off by cycling this Vizier. Untap the Lotus Field. Draw a card. Grazer. Copy the Lotus Field. Cast Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Pore over pages. Okay, we're doing things. Discard the Sanctum. Pore over pages. I believe that we have this one at this point. Discard the Grazer. So this brings us up to 9. So this Pore here brings us up to 10, which is actually a vital number. You can choose not to believe me, but it's true. And the reason why, I'm going to play this land for free, but the reason why it's so important is you can play Lier into all of these Pores. And our opponent concedes, and we are now 2-1. Pretty sweet. I'm liking this build quite a bit at the moment. Let's see how the last 2 matches go. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We are back with the 4th round. We're on the draw once again. Our opponent's taking a mulligan. We have a pretty slow and clunky hand here. I'd rather just go to 6. And this hand is so much better. So the question here becomes, do you keep the impulse or do you keep the Peer into the Abyss? And I think you're supposed to bottom the Peer because, well, yeah, I think you're just too far off of Peer being live. I'd rather have the smaller game plan with impulse. Rafine's Tower, okay. We drew the Behold, so I was rewarded for my decision. But now what needs to happen is I need to draw another land, because I don't want to play this Lotus Field and sacrifice the stage. I don't want to, but I mean, I could. Glacial Fortress. And they foretold. Draw. Think I'm going to be patient. Like this, it appears that they're just on Esper control. And if that's the case, I don't need to play out this Lotus Field. I can just try to wait until I draw my 3rd land. Draw. Ay. Pass. Behold the Multiverse. Land number 4. They're passing. I draw land. There we go. Pass. The Wandering Emperor, okay. I think I'm actually supposed to copy my forest here. And the reason why is I don't think that they can feel the ruin it if I copy. And realistically, we're not doing anything else. So I might as well try to make my land immune to Field of Ruin. They make their creature a 3/3. No blocks. I go to 17. Draw. Float 2 mana, play a Lotus Field. Sacrifice these 2 lands. And then copy. 4 mana. They cycle a Shark Typhoon. They make the shark larger. We'll block. I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've played against Esper control. They have Censors, Dovin's Veto, Absorb, Vanishing Verse. Saw it coming. They have a lot of interaction. Draw. Another Pore. Let's cycle the Vizier. Untap the Lotus Field, and let's draw a card. Or the page is number 4. Alright, let's cast it, I guess. They have 5 in hand. So the plan here is to just try to run them out of their counter spells. And it looks like they're going to let the Pore resolve. Wow. Okay, untap these. Let's get rid of a Growth Spiral. Play my land for turn. Let's float some mana. Cycle of Vizier. Untap. Draw a card. Another Growth Spiral. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Black, blue. Let's try to Pore over the pages again. 9 mana floating. That resolves. Get rid of this. They have 5 in hand. Blue, blue. Pore over pages. Get rid of a land. That wasn't very good. Let's Pore over the pages again. Okay. Trying to figure out what they would be sitting on here where they're choosing not to interact at all. Let's cast an Impulse. Take a Hidden Strings. Bummer that we're bottoming a Hidden Strings there. Yes, yes, no. I think I'm going to just play a Lier. This demands a counterspell. They saw it coming. Yep. Play Impulse. None of these are what we want. I guess we take a Thespian stage. Impulse again. Wow. That's just 8 terrible cards in a row, huh? What to do? So I have 10 total mana. How many Hidden Strings have I used? 1, 2. So I could Behold with 3 mana floating. Go get Hidden Strings, and what is it called? Delegate Recovery. So I think that might actually do it as long as they don't have a 2 mana instant speed removal spell. So Eliminate doesn't work. They have 3 copies of Vanishing Verse. That would actually do it. Alright, I'm going to Behold. Behold the Beyond. Alright, Hidden Strings, and then we get Delegate Recovery. You might be thinking, why not just get Peer into the Abyss? That's another option we can do here, for sure. I guess my concern with that line is I'm all out of Hidden Strings, like actual down to 0. And then I have to Delegate Recovery into Oracle off of next to no mana. I think Delegate Recovery is just like the line here. If they happen to have the removal spell, I'm going to get bit. Yes, yes, no. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Cast the Delegate Recovery. Getting back Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. Play the Lier. Alright, well, here's the moment of truth. They didn't concede, so... Yes, yes, no. Okay, they just want to watch me go through it, I guess. Pore over pages. And they conceded, yes! The old Past in Flames loop. Love to see it. Okay, so they do have some Narsets in the board, so I'm going to leave in Behold the Beyond. We do want to bring in all 4 copies of Mystical Dispute, Thought Distortion, and Niv Mizzet. Let's get rid of these Grazers and the growth spirals as well. Look at this board plan. 4 dispute and then 4 uncounterable cards. It's just beautiful. This is not a beautiful hand though. Mulligan. Talk about a hand. We're going to keep this bottom. I can't believe that I have to bottom a Mystical Dispute. It's just the other 5 cards are perfects. Got the Shrine. They're passing. Draw for turn. It's a Vizier. If I could trade that Vizier for a Mystical Dispute, I would in a heartbeat. Drowned Catacomb. Rest in peace. That's fine. Draw for turn. I don't care about the rest in peace, so I'm just going to play the Besage. My game plan right now is to win with this Izzet. Watery Grave. And they're just passing. Draw. Peer into the Abyss. Play the stage past the turn. They have 5 in hand. I'm going to copy my Sanctum. Draw. Let's float some mana. Lotus Field. Okay, and then we're going to cycle a Vizier, untap my field. And then we're going to pass the turn. So this allows me to copy with my Sanctum while holding open Mystical Dispute. The Wandering Emperor. So if I don't tap my Izzet, this doesn't matter that much. So the question is, how much do I care about this Wandering Emperor? And I think the answer is we're supposed to let it go. Yep. They pump up their Samurai. You got it. We'll take 3 down to 17. Ooh, they missed their attack step. They play Isolated Chapel. Oh no, you can't have that. Come on, you should know better. And then we will copy our Lotus Field. Let's party. Land. Oh, well, that's insane too. That's fine. Let's cycle this Vizier, see if we draw something good. I believe we've won this game. Blue, red. Hidden Strings on tap. I want mana floating for when I play the Izzet. Blue, play the Niv. Hidden Strings. We've already won this game, and I'm going to just shotgun them with this Peer into the Abyss. Save targets at them. Auto yield. Yes, yes, and yes. Click on the Niv. This is what I mean by shotgunning. We are going to target ourselves with Peer into the Abyss, draw 23 cards, and our opponent will take 23 damage. Nice rest in peace. Boom! 3-1. 1 match left. With Cardhoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Cardhoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Cardhoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. The 5th and final match, we're on the draw. Our hand kind of stinks. I don't really want to keep this. No clue what the opponent's playing. And this just seems so much better. Keep. I think we're supposed to bottom the growth spiral, unfortunately. We just don't have the mana to cast it. So that's the rationale. Let's hope the opponent isn't on an aggro deck. Swamp. Draw for turn. Grazer. Put that stage right on the battlefield. Passing the turn. 2 mana. Each opponent exiles a card from their hand. Wow. Am I supposed to discard the Lier or the Pore? This thing's obnoxious. Wow. I think it's supposed to be the Lier. Scrying. Had I known I was going to draw land, I would have removed the stage. Pass the turn. Liliana. We will get rid of this Balged Recovery. Certainly in an odd spot here, because I had to remove my one Lier from the game. Pass. Discard this Impulse. No! Oh, that's brutal. Oh, that was just so bad. Might as well play the Beseiju. Pass. That's such a bummer. Into Shieldred. Wow. Think I've lost this. Draw. Yep. Yeah, I don't see how I could possibly win this game now without Lier and Shieldred on the table. Underworld Dreams. So their deck is just like built to slaughter me. Okay. I've got it. Sure. So how do we want to handle this? We definitely want the ley lines, that's for sure. I think we want the Niv-Mizzet. Board out a couple spirals. We want the March. I think I'm going to bring in Path the Peril too. So Path the Peril is interesting because I could cleave it and remove a Shieldred that way. I was just a single card away that entire game. Like if my 6-card hand was a 7-card hand, I think I typically win that game. On the play. Sure. It doesn't have Leyline, but it's a good hand. Point it with the mulligan to 6. Sanctum Pass. Swamp. No such luck, Duress. No such luck. Draw for turn. Play Beseiju, pass. They play a swamp. This annoying creature again. Let's remove Dark Petition. They can know what my draw step was, it's fine. Play the Lotus Field. Pass. Cast Lockthane into Ashiok. Okay. This is not a typical deck, but highly effective against me, that's for sure. Draw. Let's copy your Lotus Field. Pass. Glad I boarded in 2 more win conditions. They attack. They have 3 in hand. Draw. I'm a little bit nervous about his running the Niv-Mizzet out there, but I think I'm sort of pressured here. Because if they have Liliana, I look like a fool. They use the Castle Lockthane, they lose 4 life. Sure, they play another Shade creature. We can remove... I think it's supposed to be the Lier. Okay. They mill... So I've now revealed Leyline of Sanctity to them. Draw. I'm going to ping this Ashiok. Cast Path to Peril. This will kill their creatures, but not mine. Hit the Ashiok. Hidden Strings. Target them. And we got it. Okay, so we stole game number 2. I think I just resubmit. Okay, game number 3. We're on the draw. This seems like a hand. They've taken a mulligan. Leyline of Sanctity enters the battlefield, and we We're starting some magic. Cast a Lockbane. Draw. Play a Sanctum, pass the turn. Nykthos. Does not cast any black spells. Let's play a Bark Channel Pathway, pass the turn. On their end step, we can play Impulse. And the opponent just conceded. Wow. Okay, so we went 4-1 with Turbo Lotus Field Combo. So one thing that I really enjoyed about this build is that I got a full complete sideboard with real cards in it. Like against Esper control, I got to swap out the 8 turbo cards for 8 blue cards that were highly impactful. And I thought that was just wonderful. When you play traditional Lotus Field decks, so if we look at this, for example, this is sort of like it's 54 cards right now. I was doing some like tuning, but it's missing the, what is it called? The ultimatums. But this like sort of like classic shell here, you end up with like a lot of like weird one-ups in your board when you're playing a Singleton Fae and that's what's missing here. Okay, so this list is missing 6 cards. It's 4 Ultimatum, 1 Mastermind's Acquisition, and 1 Fae of Wishes. But you're running 1 to 2 wishes, and then a lot of people have like these huge wish boards for 1 to 2 cards, and it just doesn't make sense. Where here, we're not playing any wishes, and we actually get to play a real sideboard full of impactful cards. So even the matchup that I lost, the games were pretty close, and I kept a hand in game 1 where we didn't have a fast acceleration piece like Grazer or Growth Spiral on curve into, the Lotus Field stage, and we sort of got punished for that. But I loved this deck list. I never once thought that Thassa's Oracle wasn't good enough. Yes, it could be approach, but I think I'm going to try Thassa's Oracle again. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I would greatly appreciate that, but I really liked this Turbo Lotus Field Combo deck. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Saturday evening. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it, and as always, keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.